Sawadee. This is Thailand Today, and I am Kusuma Yothasmut. Today we are at the event celebrating the 40th anniversary of our relationship with the Czech Republic. But before we go into join it with everyone, we would like to give you some ideas about Czech Republic. Your Excellency, Sawadee. Congratulations for the 40th anniversary with Thai and Czech Republic diplomatic relations. So you've been in Thailand for quite a while, or you might have heard about Thailand something. So can you tell me what previously you might have heard or you have visited now?
Well, Thailand became 2 years ago a new home for me, and I spent, of course, well, as my assignment takes 4 years, I've been spending much more time in this lovely country than in my own homeland. But this is something what is sometimes beyond description, that I have to use very highly ranked words to express what I feel and what I see. I see Thailand as our most important partner in ASEAN, among ASEAN countries. And actually Southeast Asia is the loveliest part of whole Asian continent, and it would always will attract me here. Before I was ambassador to Malaysia, and so I was just a little more southern than I am now. So this is something what keeps me very much happy inside and calm, and makes me always balanced.
Oh, well, anyway, so what do you think about the relationship between our two countries?
I believe that it has never been better before than it is now. If I go back more than these 40 years in our history, I will go definitely to the year 1934, when the Thai king Prajaipok Rama VII visited our capital Prague, and I'm really proud to have got from his museum in Bangkok the original photos, which we are actually display here. At the lobby before the concert, and at the same time in 1994 our president Václav Havel visited Bangkok, so which shows next to the many other visits of the deputy prime ministers, minister of foreign affairs, minister of trade, minister of defense. So it shows the high level of trust between both countries, and the will for more cooperation. So that I am very optimistic, and at the same, already now, so I'm really enthusiastic to do much more.
Okay, not only in Thailand, but how about in Southeast Asia? What is the role of Czech in Southeast Asia?
Well, I will tell you what. There are 10 countries of ASEAN. We have embassies in 7 of them. So it shows how big importance we attach towards this region, which is the region of economic growth, of practically the same number of the people of the population as the European Union has. So for us, it has been for decades very important partner. There are countries like Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, which we supported for decades, recruiting the people at our schools and enterprises, and it still really goes on. So. But of all these 10 countries, Thailand has a leading position in terms of doing business, investment, tourism.
Yes. One thing that we are to be so much concerned is a new era is coming with the ASEAN community, economic community. It's in that case, will this be affected the Czech Republic to Thailand policy?
Well, we are actually we are eager to see that it is happening, because we joined 10 years ago. We joined the European Union, so we have a 10 years experience with the integration, which puts again the Czech Republic to the map of Europe as an integrated country, as a member state of the EU. So we attach really big importance to what is happening here. So we have a lot of experience that we can share. But what we see that there will be less and less boundaries between these two blocks, like EU and ASEAN and individual countries. So the EU actually also is in the process of negotiating the free trade agreement. But the Asian ASEAN economic community will be more than that. We expect that a lot of barriers which are still here, so will be abolished, and then there will be more space for investment, for the trade, for the moving of the people, for tourism in many areas. So definitely Thailand and other ASEAN countries will look different after this starts to take effect.
But how about you looking up for 10 years next from here? How is it going to be like in your opinion?
Well, this is really so difficult to predict. I would say that even in the case of the Czech Republic, that I would hardly make predictions for the 10 years. But in 10 years, I see definitely Thailand as a very solid, friendly country, open to business, full of visitors from all around the world, and people who are happy to support the government, the king, to see the new generations growing in this really flourishing country.
Yeah. The last but not least at all is tonight. What's going on? What's going to happen on this celebration of the 40th anniversary of both the countries?
Well, yeah, I tell you, I am so excited. You know, yeah, this is what we really wanted to show, how this relationship between both countries, that we do not speak just two languages, but we speak one common language, and it is the language of music. There is this very young and ambitious orchestra. It is Sam Symphonietta, and we have also really great musicians. So I got the idea of having the concert of the Czech Thai musicians who would talk in one language. And we selected the beautiful heavenly music of Ludwig van Beethoven. It will be performed here, the piano concerto. And next to that, there will be a display of what I already before classified our crystal, Rolls-Royce of crystal. There will be no car, but purely crystal. And we are also going to have a very nice display of the photographs of the visit that I mentioned of the Thai king in Prague in 1934 and the Czech president in Bangkok in 1994. I believe that people will love it.
Very interesting. So we're looking forward for that, and yes, and we'll see to that later on. We're going to further enjoy that. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Czech Republic is located in Central Europe with no access to the seas. It shares border with Germany, Austria, Poland, and Slovakia. Czech was part of former communist Czechoslovakia. Communism in Czechoslovakia was collapsed after the Velvet Revolution in 1989. In January 1993, Czechoslovakia was dissolved and separated into independent states. There are Czech Republic and Slovakia. Diplomatic relation with Thailand was formed in June 15, 1974. It has been intact even after separation. Czech is a developed EU country with advanced economy. Prague is Czech's capital city, the historical capital of Bohemia. Because of numbers of famous cultural attractions, Prague was the fifth most visited destinations.
Welcome on our visit to Prague, Mother of Cities, surely a well-deserved nickname. Since its origin in the 9th century, Prague has always played a key role in the history of the country, representing the sovereignty and distinctiveness of the Czech nation. Since the Middle Ages, thanks to its unique merging of various architectural styles, it has earned the reputation of one of the most beautiful cities in the world. The modern hurried lifestyle blends together here with the serene features of the old city. Prague, spreading outward in all directions, has undergone extensive changes. The dominant structures of the historical core, however, continue to reveal its 1,000-year history. The French historian Ernest Denis once described it thus: "Its every stone reminds us of a heroic drama. Nowhere has life been more agitated, upheavals more frequent, passions more furious, battles more frenzied and fierce. Prague is one of those places that command history." In the middle of the 14th century, under the reign of Emperor Charles IV, Prague became the largest city in Central Europe, with its own university and archbishopric, and one of the most important and political and intellectual centers. Royal Prague, Prague of the 100 Towers, Golden Prague are just some of the nicknames of the city, to which the Rudolphine period brought political and cultural renown, attracting to Prague a large number of immigrants from around the world. Today, Prague represents a perfect union of the Romanesque, Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque architectural styles. For its historical location on 7 hills, with a river in its midst, Prague has been compared with Rome. The perfect integration of the city with the Vltava, flowing between the Old Town and the Lesser Quarter, has always given life to the city in a spiritual as well as practical sense. The Vltava is a much-honored river, often compared to the belt of a beautiful woman. It meanders through on its way to join the Elbe, while bridges bind it to the other ancient city quarters. Whether we walk through Prague along its left or right banks, we will be taken aback by the unusual number of historical landmarks and the purity of architectural styles preserved to this day, attracting millions of tourists to Prague each year, making it one of the most appealing tourist destinations available to the visitor. In the same way, it also offers us the chance to spend time in the romantic nooks of its countless restaurants and cafes, or let ourselves be carried away by the inimitable atmosphere of the Prague Genius Loci. In 1918, Prague became the capital of what was then Czechoslovakia, and is also the capital of the independent Czech Republic. The major administrative center, both secular and sacred, was from its very beginning Prague Castle. Its foundations were laid around 885 by Prince Boživoj on what was then a barren hill above the Vltava, called Praha. At the beginning of the 14th century, the forest in front of today's western gate of the castle was cut down, and a feudal town was founded here. From the 60s of the 16th century, the Czech nobility began to build a number of Renaissance-style palaces around the square. The most outstanding buildings are the Tuscan Palace and Schwarzenberger Palace, decorated with Renaissance-style graffiti. This extensive monument, dating back to the 16th century, is one of the most beautiful examples of Renaissance architecture in Prague. Coming back against the flow of the Vltava, we reach the National Theatre. This most important building of the Czech Neo-Renaissance style was built between 1868 and 1881, having been modified following a disastrous fire, according to the design of Czeeh and J. Schultz. The new scene was later added in the style of modern architecture. Similarly to the construction of the dancing house, wedged in between older buildings on the river embankment. The merging of the old with the new is well evident also in the harmony of the Manish Gallery, with the Zhizhkov water tower dating back to 1489. On the adjacent Marksman Island, formed from fluvial deposits in the 18th century, in the close vicinity of the National Theatre, we will find former baths, later transformed into a popular restaurant with a ballroom. An oasis of serenity is the nearby Franciscan Garden, with its adjacent Gothic-style church of Our Lady of the Snows, with the highest church dome in Prague. Above Wenceslas Square, at the location of the former Horse Gate, an extensive Neo-Renaissance palace was built between 1885 and 1891, based on the winning design of Josef Schultz. The National Museum, for which the palace was built, remains to this day the Czech Republic's largest museum. Its interiors were decorated by the foremost artists of their age, Alice, Snurr, Milbeck, and others. To escape the urban bustle, we can take the cogway up to the top of Petrín Hill, a favorite getaway of young couples, or we can visit another of the many parks that enliven the city and make life in it more pleasant. There are few indications that in the past Petrín used to be a very rocky hill, particularly if we pass by the sculpture named The Kiss by Josef Mažartka, through the rose garden from the 30s of the 20th century, along the well-kept paths and around the numerous irrigated flower beds. Petrín, which at one time was also used to be a place of public executions, has undergone major modifications over time. Since 1891, its top is occupied by a smaller-scale copy of the Eiffel Tower, the Petrín Lookout, the Church of St. Lawrence with the Calvary Chapel, and the Chapel of the Holy Sepulchre, as well as the popular Stepanek Observatory. In 1140, the Strahov Monastery was founded along an important trade route, not far from the castle. Since the time of the reign and support of Prince Vladislav II, the Prestrament Order of St. Norbert was the bearer of medieval learning. Already at the original Romanesque site, the monks began to assemble their famous library, which today contains 130,000 volumes, including manuscripts and first imprints. Frequently damaged by fire and sword, the monastery underwent countless reconstructions and adaptations. The site is thus a particular mix of Gothic, Renaissance, Baroque, and Classic styles. The steep cliff above the Vltava attracted settlers since prehistoric times. The first castle on Vyšehrad was probably built in the middle of the 10th century. It attained its greatest importance at the very beginning of Czech statehood, when the first king of Bohemia, Vladislav II, had his seat here. Apart from its major political significance, Vyšehrad was an important ecclesiastical center as well. The most prominent of the numerous local churches is the Church of St. Peter and St. Paul, originally a Romanesque structure, many times remodeled, most recently in the neo-Gothic style. Czech myths and legends inspired the founding of the renowned Vyšehrad Cemetery, Slaven. Since 1860, 600 of the foremost representatives of the Czech nation have been buried here: Macha, Čapek, Nimcova, Neruda, and others. The oldest building, dating back to the Premysl era, is the Romanesque Rotunda of St. Martin, built soon after 1070. A somewhat more melancholy memorial of Czech history is the six-pointed star pavilion in the enclosure of the same name. Here it was the armies of the estates suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of the Austro-Bavarian army, marking the beginning of 300 years of national subjugation. Other landmarks have survived to our time outside the historical core of Prague, interesting in their architecture and historical vicissitude. One of them is the Baroque-style Church of Our Lady of Victory, where the fallen at the Battle of White Mountain were originally buried. Or the Zbraslav Manor at the opposite end of Prague. This former Cistercian monastery underwent a costly renovation in the last century. Today, it houses important works of the 19th and 20th century Czech sculpture from the collections of the National Gallery. Another unusual experience is viewing Prague in its early evening or night road. Then it becomes a truly magical city. You can end your night walk through the city, for example, at the Prague Exhibition Grounds, with the Industrial Palace, built for the World Jubilee exhibition in 1891. The Krzyk musical fountain, a fascinating combination of water jets, color light effects, and compelling music, completes the magic atmosphere of the musical and theater shows presented here. Prague has always been an exceptional place for equally exceptional occasions. Not everything has been said, nor could it have been. It is, however, a city that you will never feel bored. If we feel the need to say goodbye to it, let us do so with wishes of meeting again at the occasion of further visits to this magical city.
Czech Republic is one of the fastest growing economies in Europe. Sooner or later, we will see it gains more influences on ASEAN as it plans to expand its role within the region. We run out of time today, so you can follow Thailand Today at the same time on NBTWorld. Thank you for watching and see you again next time. สวัสดีครับ